welcome to Soundtrack Talk, the podcast where I talk about video games and music, I guess. I am here today with my friend. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's James. I'm a violinist.
Cool.
So help.
But yeah, so we've both play the game Minecraft, and I'm sure a lot of people play the game Minecraft, but in case you haven't heard of it, should we just introduce it a bit?
Yes, Minecraft is a game. It's a sandbox game. There's no real storyline, and you can just build as much as you want. Endless possibility, infinite world.
Yeah.
There's bosses.
Well, the main feature of it is that everything is like blocks. Isn't there a word for that? Like voxel based or something? It's voxel.
Oh.
It's a voxel based open world survival, but also sandbox game. And it's like the biggest game now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's surpassed
probably...
Tetris.
Yeah, man, another block game.
Another block game. You see, block games are doing well.
Yeah.
So, the actual soundtrack music is very interesting, and I'm going to do a whole nother episode on it, but today I'm just going to focus on the sound effects and other noises that happen, like ambient noises or music discs, and in fact there's a way for people to create music themselves in the game in the form of note blocks and things like that. To start with, I might just introduce the sort of composers of the music. The most famous one is C418. So C418, also known as Daniel Rosenfeld, is the main composer for Minecraft, and he composed all the music for the early editions, the original soundtracks, the music discs, and things like that. Recently, Lena Raine has also come on the scene. She composed 4 tracks for the 1.16 Nether update, which is like the hell biome of the game, and 6 tracks for the 1.18 Caves and Cliffs update, which is where they introduced a lot of things regarding caves and cliffs. A lot of her recognition has come from her music discs that she has worked on for the game, and some people have forgotten that she actually wrote some of the soundtrack for it as well. She's also worked on Celeste, Deltarune, and Guild Wars 2, which is quite interesting.
Oh, there was this other game I played. What was it called? It was called like Shikari, A Colourful Tale.
Oh, that as well.
Yeah, that soundtrack was so good.
Yeah, that's by her as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The game itself is really simple. Like, I don't know, you do things and the story progresses and you do something else. But like the music, like how the music changed as the world kind of got less and less colourful. That was like the story of the game. You had to like recolour it in.
That's really interesting. I haven't played that game. I need to play it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. The game itself was really simple, but the music kind of made it seem really cool.
Yeah, I do love how the music does play a big part in video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, to begin with, should we talk a little about the sound effects?
Yes.
Okay, so like in films and things, a lot of the ways people make sound effects are quite creative. If they can't find a stock sound effect online, they might turn to just like hitting things or making random sounds to see what sounds good. And the same is in fact true for Minecraft. So a lot of the monster noises were actually created in a strange way. For example, did you know the noise that spiders make is actually the composer's garden hose, but then messed around with a bit in a synthesizer. So just for reference, here is the spider noises. But yeah, that's a garden hose.
That's a hose doing what?
I think it's just spraying some water, like he pinched the end of it or something like that. And he recorded it and then changed the pitch a bit in a synthesizer.
It's really weird after playing. I've had Minecraft for 10.5 years now. It's kind of weird taking the sounds out of context because they just sound so perfect in the game. Even though you think you hear it from this perspective and you're like, oh, that sounds really weird. I can imagine someone listening to this who's never played Minecraft being like, that's not what a spider sounds like. But I'm like, of course that's what a spider sounds like. What do you mean?
Yeah. I think the composer did say in an interview that he was wondering what sounds do spiders make, and turns out a lot of spiders don't make any sounds. But apparently, apparently there's this one spider that made a hissing or rattling sound when threatened, and that's what he tried to base it off, so that there was actually a sound for the spider mob.
Okay.
Another interesting one is that the zombie moans are created when the composer was feeling a little bit ill and his voice was a bit hoarse from a flu, so he sort of just gurgled into a microphone and pitched it down a bit. So for reference, here's a zombie sound.
I can make that noise. No, I can't make that. I can't make that noise.
They're so iconic, aren't they? Like, you think of Minecraft sound effects and they're the ones you think of.
No, you think of ooh,
Oh yeah, the oof sound.
ooh. That's an old one.
Yeah,
It's
they
got a
removed
lot.
it.
A lot of the old sound effects have been kind of updated.
Or
It's
removed.
it, yeah, or removed, or removed.
Another iconic one is the dirt digging and block breaking sounds.
Yeah, that's one that's been kind of updated.
It's been updated a lot. Also, I think to begin with, the block breaking sound was originally the footsteps, but then that
Yeah.
was it was too harsh.
Yeah. I don't really remember it because it was so long ago, but I just saw it and I was like, man, that must have been so annoying to listen to. But
Yeah.
it's really cool how they've like flattened it out, or no, that's not the word. I don't know, just slightly adjusted everything to make it more of a pleasant kind of listening experience.
So for reference, here are the sounds. That's the placing sounds. That's the wrong sounds.
What a great sound.
No, here's this one. That's the stone one, isn't it?
It's such like minute differences. The game's called Minecraft. If you have a quick guess at something that you might be doing, one of those things will be mining, like with a pickaxe. So you end up breaking a lot of stone, and like such a small thing as like that little sound of breaking stone becomes something that's really important to like have a good sound for.
Yeah, it can become really annoying if you have something that's just slightly not pleasant to the ears after like hours in mining. It does become out of place.
Yeah. The old walking sounds, going back to that's just like just sounds like it'd be the most annoying thing ever now. It's just like every time you move. Like,
Here are the Minecraft old walking sounds.
yeah, that's the same sound as placing it down now.
Yeah,
Oddly,
they've
I feel
changed
like
it.
I feel like that's probably not changed, but yeah, just
Changed what it's used for.
toning it down a bit.
Another iconic mob is the creeper, the one that blows up, and the face of Minecraft. The sound for the explosion of a creeper was actually a gunshot pitched down, and I read that it's because he was thinking of where he could get explosion sounds from, and turns out there's not that many online that he could find compared to gunshots, and also explosions were probably too big and they would sound too like a massive explosion had gone off, and not
Yeah.
like a mob about the same size as your player has just exploded. So for reference, here is the creeper sound effect.
Yeah, that's another weird one. Like I just never thought it could be a gunshot sound until
Yeah,
you think you hear it on its own. You think, oh, that's what that could be.
yeah,
Obviously, the hissing before it probably. I don't know. It sounds more like a cannon.
it does. That's probably because it's pitched down a lot to sound like an explosion, I think. But yeah, it's
But you said
really
it was a
weird.
shotgun.
Sorry?
But you said it was a shotgun.
A gunshot.
Oh,
Well, it could be from a shotgun. I don't know.
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird listening to these things out of context and then finding out what actually made them, because then you hear them and you're like, oh yeah, they do kind of sound like that.
A lot of the sounds in the game were actually taken from Free Sound, a website that gives out sounds. Well, a lot of things give out sounds for free, but I guess they don't want copyright or credit or something.
I didn't know that.
Like the kitten meowing sounds.
Oh, really?
They're actually yeah. They're actually still links to the website.
Huh.
Let me send you a link actually.
Oh yeah, that's so strange hearing that out of context.
Yeah. I mean that one is obviously exactly what you think it would be. That is the sound that a cat makes when it meows. And then there's the lightning.
Another iconic classic.
And chickens, the first bit of this.
Oh, that's so strange.
Yeah, it's actual real chickens. This might not be so like mind-breaking for anyone listening to this. Um, but I hope you understand. We're just sat here like, whoa, these chickens are real,
Real, yeah.
not just game chickens.
Oh, that's a cow. That's not
Yeah,
used in the game.
yeah, that's not only the start bit, I
Only
think.
the chickens. That's so strange. It must be really weird if you've never played this game. You're probably like, well, yeah, it's just chickens. That's what they sound like.
Yeah, you guys are so weird. What the hell?
Should we talk about some ambient sounds?
Yes.
There are actually 167 ambient noises in the game. I didn't think there were that many because when you think of the Minecraft ambient noises, you mainly think of the cave noises, which are the spooky ones that play in the caves. But no, there's 167, and they are separated into 3 categories for cave sounds, underwater sounds, and nether sounds. And the majority of them are actually in the nether, which I didn't know.
Mhm.
The cave sounds are really distinctive. They're a classic for anyone who's played the game, really recognizable. For example, here are some of them.
That's one of the tame ones.
That's one of the tame ones. I'm not sure which ones are the most spooky.
Some are like
This
make
one.
you close the game and go to bed.
Yep. See, they're all sort of just low noises or high noises. See, that's quite. I don't know. I don't think that one's as spooky
That's
as the
eerie.
others.
That's kind of like siren calling kind of
Oh,
thing
yeah.
in the ocean to me. There's one that is just the most terrifying thing.
It's 17, isn't it? It's that one.
just to set the scene for anyone that we still haven't explained this game well enough to. You're gonna be mining, as we said before. You can make torches pretty easily, which light the way for you. But imagine you stumble upon a cave, which are very common in Minecraft. Like with the mining, there has to be something interesting to do. And recently, there's been a whole update just dedicated to caves, and they are incredibly vast. The new ones, they are massive, and they are all completely dark. If you run out of torches and you're running around in the dark, and then you hear that, and you're like 12 years old.
You hear
Thankfully,
this.
and and then you hear. I can't recreate the sound very well with my voice at all, but
What are you
yeah,
trying to recreate?
that the one that you just.
But yeah, it
uh,
really does make you shut off the game.
Yeah. It's just because Minecraft is a game that you can just get immersed in for so long, for hours. You know, if you some people just don't get into it. The whole aspect of like not having much of a quest line to follow and just having to do your own thing. For some people is like, oh, brilliant, you know, I'm going to build my favorite house. Some people are recreating the whole earth in a 1-to-1 scale in
Yeah,
Minecraft at the moment.
that's incredible.
That's how far some people go with this game. But it's such an easy game to get immersed in, and hearing that, you know, it just feels so real. Like the sound effects, really, the ambient noises, the sound effects, they really just make it feel so much more real.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to talk about Cave 14 in particular. So this one is interesting because it first of all it sounds like this. And as you can hear, it's sort of like electronic, and it sounds really glitchy. So yeah, it actually resembles the face of a creeper if you put it into a spectrogram, which is the face of Minecraft, the logo, the iconic image. So there's a lot of theories and mysteries surrounding that. I personally just think it's a little Easter egg.
Yeah, that's crazy. It looks so spooky. Like, I mean, this is gonna be a podcast, isn't it? But there's like it looks fuzzy all around the face as well. Looks really
You see the big
creepy.
eyes looking at
Yeah,
you.
big eyes.
So I also wanted to talk about the underwater and the nether ambience, and these things are done in a really cool way. So there's a loop, the base loop, which is just what plays all the time. So for example, this is the underwater bass loop. It just sounds like general water noises. So these sounds play that anytime your player's head is underwater. And then how this is done is that there are loop additions which play sometimes, and then there are rare loop additions which play less of the time, and then there's ultra rare loop additions which play even less of the time. But some of these I don't think I've even heard in the game because they're quite rare, and also I don't think I personally spend a lot of time underwater in the game.
No, I don't think anyone does.
But some of them are quite spooky. Most of them are just bubble sounds like this and like that. Don't know if you can hear it. They're quite quiet.
Yeah,
But
it's just tiny little bubbles. So they just
yeah,
kind of loop. They loop over the top of the normal
yeah.
ambience.
But then some of them are like whale sounds, but also
Mm.
quite quiet. And then there's one called Earth Crack, which is quite spooky. Perhaps it's meant to be like tectonic plates moving or something.
Well,
There are also some ultra rare loop editions called Dark, which are quite scary. But also very quiet. But I do think these set the
sounds like a
scene.
car starting up really far away through a door. In my opinion,
To be fair, that could be how they made it.
could be.
Could be. But yeah, I just think they set the scene really well. And even though I haven't heard them in the game, I can imagine what you would like feel like if you were just underwater swimming in an ocean or something, or you found a shipwreck and then you hear this really spooky noise.
Yeah.
Now with the new Nether update, the recent one, well, it's not even recent anymore, but when they updated the Nether, they added
Relatively recent.
relatively recent. They added a whole bunch of different biomes in the Nether, which was a big deal because previous to that there was only one biome and it was pretty boring. So they needed a Nether update. And with that, they added this new system to play ambient noises, which is similar to the underwater one, in that there's a main loop and then there's loop additions that play over the top of them randomly. And then they added a separate sound effect list for all of the different biomes. So there's 5 different biomes, and each one of them has their own sort of ambient noises. For example, they're all quite toned down, I'd say. They're not that obvious unless you listen out for them specifically in the game. But for example, here's the
Yeah, I think they're all amplified on the website.
yeah, I think they're all amplified. How we're playing them now, quite hard to hear in the game, especially over the top of like walking noises and hitting blocks noises and all the mob
Yeah,
noises.
that's the thing. That's the thing. You're just constantly exposed to all the sounds at once, and I think the balancing it, they do a really great job.
But yeah, for example, here's a loop. So as you can hear, it's quite low key. It just sets the tone, bit of ambience for the creepy Nether. They've also added a thing in these Nether loops called the mood. So the mood value is a value that's 0 to 100, and it basically just increases whenever you're in a dark place, and it slightly decreases whenever you're in a light place. So if you're in a dark place long enough and the value reaches 100, then one of these random mood noises will play. For example, they're sort of similar to the cave noises in a way.
Yeah, that's insane. The mood thing.
I just find it so interesting how they set up this whole mood system with the value going 0 to 100 just to play these noises rather than just playing them randomly. I don't know, it really adds to it. So if you just spend time in a dark place for long enough, you'll hear more of them.
Yeah, that's such a subconscious thing. Something that you won't notice until you read it, and then you're like, "That's why I didn't notice." It's just so realistic.
Does a really good job of immersing you in it.
Good job, Minecraft.
Good job,
Well done, well done.
Minecraft.
You're doing great, kid.
There's another really interesting thing that I noticed while researching for this. So the noise for Basalt Delta's click could be based on a Geiger counter. So for example, here are some of the noises.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds like that, doesn't it?
It does definitely sound like it.
Yeah, to set the scene, the basalt deltas, obviously basalt is like a really black kind of rock.
Mm.
And it's the whole area is just the floor is just really spiky. Like in Minecraft, you can run around like you can in real life, but certain things have block heights, and you can like jump up one block, and then you can fall down a few until you like start getting hurt. And the basalt delta is just up and down and up, and you're up 5
It's
and
hard to
down,
navigate.
really hard to navigate.
Mm.
And the whole time there's this grey fog with like little black dots scattered around the area.
Mm.
Yeah, now that you've mentioned the Geiger counters, it really does feel like a nuclear kind of wasteland.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Even though there's no actual radiation or, radioactive waste thing in Minecraft, it sort of
Yeah,
it could spawn theories that back in the day it could have been some old site, especially with the piglins, the mobs that are that inhabit the basalt deltas and the bastions as well, which is bastion ruins actually, aren't they?
remnants.
Remnants, of course. Bastion remnants are inhabited by these piglin creatures, and it just sort of makes sense if you think about it. Could be
Yeah,
alluding to some sort of accident that happened which caused Bastion remnants and the piglins to emerge. But also, it just sort of reminded me of Half-Life and Half-Life 2 because in those games there is a radiation thing, and there is a
yeah.
Geiger counter noise that happens when you get close to sources of radiation, and it
Could be
just
a spoiler. Nukes in Minecraft coming
oh,
soon.
could be a sneak
coming
peek.
coming in 2020. Well, maybe not 2022. Going back a while now, when I used to play with my friends
Mm,
8 years ago. So obviously there's the base game Minecraft, but many people make like mods, they're called mods, short for modifications, I guess.
hmm
They add their own custom like blocks and things. And man, when we used to play back then, there were like massive force fields, nukes, custom tools, things like that.
All mods, right?
Yeah, all,
Yeah, yeah,
all
all mods.
mods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
Sneak preview.
yeah. Maybe they're finally because a lot of the things in those old mods have been added. Like there used to be copper in back then,
Oh,
and they've added
wasn't
that
there
recently.
a lot of there was like a mod called Loads of Animals or like More Animals or something like that, which they added. Horses were in that mod, and then they made it into the actual game as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, this is going off topic from the soundtrack a bit, but Minecraft do have a bit of a history of listening to the community,
Mm,
because some of the most recent mobs are animals, by the way, basically creatures, animals. So mobs covers like monsters, animals, bosses, all that kind of thing. I can't remember which one, but some of the most recent mobs they created using a tool that the community created themselves to make custom things.
that's really
Mobs.
cool. I didn't know that, but
Mm,
they know it's good that they listen to the community and add in because modders are sort of incredible. They're always adding content that you didn't think was possible, but they had an idea and they made it.
yeah, you didn't know you needed it until you saw it, and you're like, oh, why is this not in the game? But
Yeah,
there's
but then it
only
could be in the game in the future.
yeah,
Another thing I wanted to mention was the Soul Sand Valley. So in the Nether, there's a block called Soul Sand.
still in the Nether.
Still in the Nether, there's a block called Soul Sand, which makes you walk slowly if you walk over it, and that's pretty much the only interaction it has with your player. However, the texture for it is really creepy because if you look at it for more than about 3 seconds, you'll notice it kind of looks like a bunch of screaming faces, eyes open, mouth open in horror, and
Yeah,
then
it looks like the Scream, the famous
the famous
painting.
painting. It literally looks like the face from the Scream, like copied and pasted all over.
Yeah, it's called soul sand. It's basically like the souls are trapped inside it.
Yeah. And then I found it really interesting when I discovered there were actually voices and whisper ambient noises. So let's have a listen to some of them.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Man, that just sounds like people singing really loudly, but like really, really massively turned down and a
And,
load of like echo put on it.
and really far away.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it just, I don't know, it sort of gave me the chills. Because if you think about all the souls that are trapped in the soul sand. And there's also
yeah.
these whisper ones, which are really quiet, but I'll see if you can hear them. They are incredibly quiet and
Yeah,
therefore probably really hard to hear in the game over all the other sounds of walking and mining and things. But I mean, if you do hear them or if you subconsciously hear them,
yeah.
that
Well, that's
really
the thing.
adds to it.
So much of this will be so subconscious. The thing is,
Mm.
I don't know exactly how long you've been playing, but as I said before, I've been playing for 10 years. When I go to the Nether, I think I kind of know what's going to happen now. It's been quite a while, even with the
Yeah,
new update. Like,
me too.
but what I would give to be a completely new player to Minecraft again, to hear all this as it is now, because the game's just kind of constantly been updating, almost always for the almost always for the better. Yeah, but it's always based on what you already know. It's just kind of added. I don't know, but to play it again from scratch with everything as like absorbing all of this at once, I don't know, it'd be
Mm.
crazy. Fully recommend to anyone that's never played Minecraft.
Fully recommend. I also
If
recommend.
if you're in the 2% of the world that hasn't
Yeah. One of my friends had never heard of Minecraft.
heard of.
Yeah, never heard of. I don't know how. I mean, they
Oh,
weren't a frequent user of the internet, so I guess that's how. So moving on, I wanted to talk about the system in which people can make their own music within Minecraft. So not only can you build things, you can also compose things with the use of a note block. So there's a block in Minecraft and it makes a sound, basically. It makes one single note and you can change the pitch of the note. And you can, so if you string loads of them together and play them, you could make songs. And people have made full arrangements of songs and pieces within Minecraft using the note blocks. And what I thought was interesting was just how there are actually a lot of different sounds that the note blocks can make when you place a different block underneath it.
play some of the sounds.
Alright, I'll play all the
Um,
sounds.
so yeah, depending on what block is underneath this note block, depends what note comes out.
Mm. That's a harp.
Yeah,
There's also a bass. Some drum noises. A nice little bell if you use gold.
yeah. Okay, so we get the idea.
You get the idea. There's a lot more.
Different instruments. I'll just point out that
Mhm.
it doesn't go every time you play it. That
No.
was just running through all the like
All the different
different
pitches.
pitches that they can play. Minecraft is really known for well, it's not known for, but there is a whole different Minecraft education edition.
Oh yes.
And that's, I mean, that's crazy. That's got loads of like chemistry things. Schools use it to teach children
Mm.
about, you know, chemistry, things like that. But this is good for just teaching how timing works. There is limitations because I really can't explain the whole system that you would need to create to
It's
play the
like the
music.
whole
It's
the
not.
whole electricity system in Minecraft.
There's basically a timing. There's the system in Minecraft like that you need to set up like wiring to play the things at certain times, and
Which
there's
is
also a
again,
limitation.
oh sorry.
There's also a limitation in Minecraft and how many like things you can do per second and how often the beats can be apart. Not to go too deep into music theory, so there's limitations, but you can create some really great things, different instrument sounds. It's a really great like gateway to doing some music. I've definitely made like at least the start of some songs in Minecraft. It was really fun.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy sort of using things within Minecraft to make sort of art. Like it's the same with people who make massive pixel art paintings in
Yeah,
Minecraft. You can do the same with music. Even the electricity system has some extraordinary things people have done with it. People have made literal computers within Minecraft, which is just blows my mind.
yeah, like fully working computers.
Fully working calculators, like you can play Snake on them and stuff like that.
Oh, I've never played Snake on my calculator.
I think you need a better calculator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think even the sounds they choose for their notebooks as well. Going back to the drum ones, obviously they don't
Mm.
sound like. I think the ones that were played with like a snare drum and a hi hat. Well, the hi hat's like the cymbals on the drum kit. People that aren't too familiar with the drum kit, but it doesn't sound like that. But it just sounds like it fits in Minecraft
Mm.
somehow.
It still has the gamey feel.
Not all of the sounds. Some of the sounds sound very like the instrument they're trying to create, like the chime that it finished with. But yeah, they kind of go back to the 8-bit kind of sounds that reminds you of like Pokemon games.
There is an actual 8-bit noise as well.
Oh yeah, that is exactly
That is exactly what it's trying to sound like.
Yeah, but the drums as well. I don't know, kind of remind me of that.
Now, to finish off, I'd want to talk about the jukebox. So, along with the note block, there's another block which allows you to play music. And this time, there are a series of collectible music discs within the game. And to get these discs, you need to get a creeper to die from a skeleton shooting it with an arrow. Now that sounds quite complicated if you haven't played the game, and to be honest, it is quite complicated if you have played the game as well.
It sounds quite complicated, and you would be right.
Yeah, you would be right, because obviously these two monsters are enemies and they target you. So to get them to sort of shoot each other is really annoying. So therefore, it's quite rare, and so it is quite almost an Easter egg when you collect a music disc.
Yeah. It's not too hard, and everyone knows about it. So,
if you were playing the game for the first time, you would
have
some...
if you did it by accident,
it would be quite.
And then the disc popped out, you'd be like, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you can also get them from treasure chests in dungeons.
Oh yeah, of course.
Things like that.
So most of them are upbeat and catchy and generally sort of fit the vibe of Minecraft. So for example, here is one of the music discs called Cat, and as you'll hear, it's quite catchy.
Kind of layers these lines on top of each other.
So yeah, most of them do sound like that. They sort of have a tune and a melody, and they're catchy and you can remember them. And if you set them to play in like your house in Minecraft, it would really set a vibe and you can really sort of control what's going on there. However,
one, two. Oh.
Wait, no.
You missed the melody.
Here's the melody.
Okay.
As you can see, they're incredibly catchy. However, there are two exceptions to this nice chirpy music discs rule. There are two discs called 11 and 13.
These are my two favourite numbers.
Two favourite numbers for this reason. So, let's have a listen to 11.
Oh, what a feel-good vibe.
What a feel-good vibe, indeed. So as you can see, that is quite different from the usual.
Yeah. It kind of, to me now, it kind of sounds like someone placing loads of blocks, but you realise this was made when placing the blocks sounded like walking on them. So actually it sounds like someone running away and panting. It's really weird to hear like human breath
in the game.
in Minecraft, because nothing like that is in the game. There's a lot of like real world based sounds, but there's nothing to do with like humans.
Definitely. But yeah, so seeing how this disc is really out of place, it spawned loads of theories of what's going on. People have speculated that there's that that character is you, or that character is someone in the past, and he's being chased by whatever mobs, and there's a whole bunch of different theories that have been spawned from this disc. Do you have your own theory, James?
Well, I don't have one that I made it myself, but there's one that it links very strongly with 13 itself, and it kind of happens in the middle of 13. There's a lot of details.
There's a lot of details.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that one as well. But basically, most of the theories say that your character is in a cave, and he's sort of running from a monster. He fiddles with some paper and a lighter or flint and steel or something. And I just think it's really creepy that something like that is in what is essentially a children's game.
Yeah. There's a lot of small things in this game, like the cave noises.
The cave
from
noises
earlier,
as well.
and this, and you're like, okay, this is cool. And is it? I don't know.
Should we listen to 13 as well?
Yeah.
See, the difference between this one and 11, I think this one is a lot more ambient, and in my opinion, I feel like it's harder to sort of pin down a narrative with 13, because it's much less obvious what's going on. There's not clear like walking sounds or anything like that.
Yeah, well, this one kind of almost sounds like music. Because a lot of the like game music, obviously we're not talking about that. You can talk about that with one of your other friends. but a lot of the game music sounds kind of like this. You just don't really notice because you're busy playing the game, or you've turned the music off like a lot of people do.
Yeah, I might stop it there. Basically goes on like that for a while. Another Easter egg with the spectrogram, I'm pretty sure if you put either 11 or 13 into spectrogram, it has a creeper face as well.
Oh.
I haven't tried it myself, that might be wrong.
So thanks so much for listening, guys. It's been really fun. Or maybe you should do it.
Well,
I'm the guest.
So thanks so much for listening, guys. But yeah, no, so this was our little talk about the sound effects and ambient noises of music discs in Minecraft. I hope it was interesting. We discussed a lot of cool trivia and theories. Yeah, thanks for listening. I will be back soon to talk about another game. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm Jade, and you...
I'm not.
No. Yep, that's true.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was lots of fun, as you can hear from my voice.
Anytime, James. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to Soundtrack Talk. Bye.
Bye.